How many people know where Amalie Arena is? How many people know where Amalie Arena is? How many people don't know where Amalie Arena is? That's down the street where the hockey team plays. So for those of you who know where Amalie Arena is, if I said to you, follow me, and we're going to go to Amalie Arena, would that be a proper use of the word follow? How many people think that would be a proper use of the word follow? Follow me to a place you already know where it is. It actually wouldn't really be a proper use of that word. I mean, you know where we're going, so you can just meet me there. I mean, if we're in the traditional sense of following someone in a car, you know, you wouldn't have to follow close behind me. If I blew through a light and you couldn't follow behind me, you'd be like, okay, no worries, I know where we're going, I'll just meet him there. Right? The word follow is most specifically when we really don't know where we're going. Most of you don't, many of you don't know where I live. And if you didn't have the benefit of an iPhone, I guess there's no more following people home. You'll have an iPhone, you can just put it in there. But if you didn't know where I lived, and I said, follow me home, you would pay very close attention to like not getting separated. And I would pay very close attention to not getting separated. If you know where we're going, you don't have to worry so much because you can just meet someone there. So I want to talk about the word follow today as it pertains to following Christ. As it pertains to following Christ. Again, to follow someone means you're going after them and you don't know where they're going necessarily. But you trust that they're going someplace that's worthwhile. I'm sure we all know people in our life that we would love to follow for a day. Maybe we would love to follow someone to the football game today, or follow them to an expensive restaurant. Maybe they like to, you know, play big, and so we say, you know, I'll follow them. I know I'm going to have a good time. And we know there are people in our life that if we follow them, we're probably going to go into a bad place. And we say, I don't want to follow them because they just go for trouble. We tell our children, follow so-and-so, they're a good role model. And we tell our children, don't follow so-and-so, whatever they're doing. It's not a good thing. So our relationship with Christ is a relationship where he is the leader and we are the follower. And so if we are the follower, we are going wherever the leader is leading us, even if we don't know where the leader is leading us, because we trust where he's leading us. Now imagine in the gospel lesson today that you had met Peter, just going about your business, working class guy, had your friends, working on your boat, struggling along. Peter was not a very successful fisherman. He was clearly a blue-collar guy. Went to work every day, worked during the night. He even told Jesus, we've been working all night, we didn't get anything. He wasn't living in a fancy mansion. He wasn't an accomplished fisherman. He wasn't the director of a big fishing company. He sat behind his desk, but he was someone out there doing the manual work of a fisherman. And when Jesus found him, he actually was cleaning his nets off. And he must have been kind of frustrated because he had been working all night. He had no fish to show for his work. He just had a dirty, messy net to clean off. I love how Jesus always approaches like the common people doing common things. We rarely see Jesus going to a mansion and sitting down and kicking his feet up, and there were no big screen TVs back then, but you get the picture. Jesus kind of called the common people. So he called Peter and he said, follow me. And then he called James and John, who were Peter's friends, and they followed also. He called, and they followed. I started off talking about what does it mean to follow. If I go for a walk, I don't tell you where we're going, and you go, you are a follower. As I said, if you know exactly where you're going, you don't have to follow. You can go alone. If I ask you to meet me somewhere, you are a meeter, not a follower. Follower is when I ask you to go, but don't tell you exactly where we're going. When we follow Christ, we're not just supposed to meet him on Sundays. We're not just supposed to meet him when it's convenient. We're supposed to follow him, follow his lead. He says love. We're supposed to love, even when it's hard. He says forgive. We're supposed to forgive, even when we don't feel like it. He says do good. And we're supposed to do that, even when we don't feel like it. He says give to those who are in need. And we're supposed to do that even when we don't think we have enough for ourselves. This is where he's leading. The question is, are we following? Or do we just meet him on Sundays or meet him occasionally when we decide? Let's go to the word call, the other significant word of the gospel. Call and follow. When somebody calls you, it's a personal call. How many people, when you call someone on the phone, you reveal what your name is? Anyone call and say, this is so-and-so calling? I don't ever call someone and say, hey George, how you doing? George's like, who is this? I always say who I am, and I always say who I'm calling. I don't say, hey you. I don't say, hey, good morning, hello. I always like, hey George. It's always a personal greeting. Hey George, this is Father Stavros, how you doing? So when Jesus calls us, he's not just calling us at random. Hey you, it's me. How's it going? He's called each of us in a very personal way. Hey George, hey Dimitri, hey Eleni, hey Catherine. Follow me. You, I'm calling you specifically. You follow me. Not, hey, you out there, follow a random person. It's, hey, all of you, you, and you follow me. I guess the exception to that is a telemarketer. When they call, they don't know how to say your name. And they never know how to say mine. That's how I know they're not important. They can't even get my name right. But Christ is not like that. He knows everybody's name. He gets our names right. It's a personal call. I've called you specifically. When we make phone calls to our friends, many times we call just to talk. We don't even need anything. We say, I'm calling you just to talk to you. Sometimes we're calling and saying, hey, John, I need a favor. But you call and you say a specific thing. God has called each of us to do 3 specific things. He has called us to be his children. That means we're supposed to look at him like our Father. A loving, kind, benevolent, providing Father. Christ has called each of us to follow him. The way may be known, it may be somewhat known, it may be unknown, but he's called us to follow him. And he has called us 3 to do something in this life that will further his gospel. He's called us to do something in our life that will further the gospel. Some of us maybe don't like our call. We say, maybe I'm 40 years old and I'm a lawyer and I wish I was a doctor. Or I have 2 kids and I wish I had 3. Or I'm single and I wish I were married. Or I live in Florida and wish I lived in Colorado. We're each called to do something, and as I said, maybe we don't like what the call is. But the follower doesn't say to the leader, I'm not going your way. The follower says, I follow. Wherever you're going, I'm going. Wherever this journey is going, I'm going. That's what a follower does. So maybe we don't like our call, but we follow anyway. Maybe we don't understand our call, but we follow anyway. Christ has called each of us to be a fisher of men, the same way that Peter was. We're each called to do that in a different way. We're each called to be a fisher of men in a little different way. I do it as a priest, but this is not the only job where you can fetch fish for Christ. This is not the only career in which you can go and bring people to the Lord. It's actually possible in a lot of careers. Maybe even more possible in certain careers than in mine. Do we eagerly answer our call? Do we go begrudgingly? Or do we not go at all? And as for this call to be a Christian, follow after Christ, do we go only on Sundays or when it's convenient, or do we go at all times and in all places? We are called to be disciples. The gospel lesson was of the call of the first disciples. Before the resurrection in the Bible, you read the name ascribed to Jesus' followers as disciples. The disciples are students, learners. And after the resurrection and after Jesus commissions them, he commissions them to be apostles, and they're referred to as apostles. And apostles are leaders. Apostles are leaders who attract followers. I remember someone saying to me, if you go out to lead, you're leading a line of people and no one's following, you're just going out for a walk. So the leader is someone who has to motivate people to follow them. So the disciple is the student of the faith, and the apostle is the leader who brings others to follow along. And we are called by Christ first to be disciples, to learn about our faith, and then we're each commissioned to be apostles, people who are leaders, who people want to follow into Christianity. A very sobering question: will anyone follow your example of Christianity? Is that attractive to anyone in your whole life? Will there be at least one person who comes closer to Christ because of something that you did, because of you leading the way? We're called to follow. It starts with that. Called to be a disciple, called to be an apostle, called to further the gospel in some way. One of the great benefits of belonging to a church is that it hopefully strengthens your call as a disciple. There are 5 opportunities this week. This particular week, there are 5 opportunities. Other weeks, there are more opportunities than that. There are 5 opportunities to learn this week at St. John's and to strengthen your identity as a disciple. Tomorrow night, Charlie has his Bible study. On Tuesday night, John, our new pastoral assistant, has started a Bible study. On Tuesday morning, the women's Bible studies meeting. Any women of our church are welcome to join. The women's Bible study is going to meet in the admin building through double glass doors toward the back. And that's the same place where Charlie's Bible study and John's will meet. And on Thursday, we will have our grief share group. They also meet back there. And tomorrow night begins our 4-week Orthodoxy 101 class for the fall. If you've ever taken this class and really would like to learn more about our faith, and if you're someone who's not Orthodox and would like to take this class, and even Orthodox people have been there their whole life and still don't understand what it is we believe and where we're going, I encourage you to go to the Orthodoxy 101. It's a 4-week class from 6:30 to 8:30 Monday nights, and that meets in the church here. If it was a little hot this morning when you came in, the air conditioning stopped working, and if you want to say a big thank you to someone today, thank Charlie, because he found someone that would come out like on an hour's notice and actually kind of helped him put the air conditioning back together so that we can have air this morning. So thank him when you see him. The greeters for today are Jeannie Carter. Jeannie's over there. Helen Cawthorn, who's right up here in the front. And Calliope Chigueras, who's in the back. They're going to come up here in a moment. If you're new to our parish, please meet one of them and give them your information. Thank you for sharing a beautiful liturgy this morning. I hope you have a wonderful week. And whatever your call is this week, whatever you do with your life, if you see few people or you see many, just give it your best, and in some way, in some quiet way, try to reflect the example of the gospel of Jesus Christ so you can lead as an apostle. Have a wonderful week.